Hi, is your teenager yelling really offensive language into his headset while playing video games? That is today's topic on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm the founder and clinical director of the group private practice Teen Therapy Center here in Woodland Hills, California. I'm also the executive director of the nonprofit organization Child and Teen Counseling. Both organizations offer therapy to help kids, teens, and families live happier lives. Every Wednesday at noon, I come to you live on Facebook to answer your parenting questions. And here is today's question. Yesterday, I overheard my son yelling some really inappropriate things into his headset as he was playing a video game. Swearing once or twice is fine in our house, but he was going beyond that. We didn't raise him to talk like that, and it made me really angry and sad to hear him say such hurtful things out loud. When I talked to him about it, he brushed me off and said everyone says that stuff while playing and that it's not a big deal. Am I overreacting? Are you overreacting? I don't know. It may depend on how much emotion you're engaging him with this. First, I want to talk about the culture of online gaming. Online gaming is a ruthless environment where the more respect you get is by the louder, more offensive, funnier thing you say. There are no bounds. There's no limits. People can get really, really in the trash talk. It can be really offensive. Some people get offended, but the whole thing is, can you make the other people laugh, or can you make them so angry that they, rage online? That is celebrated in online gaming. I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you how it is. So when you have teenagers who are playing video games online, they are really engaged in not only playing the game, but how to trash talk and how to one-up the next guy. And it's kind of like, locker room talk. The only thing is, no one can punch you in the nose. So you can say anything. If you are in the locker room and with like a sports team and you start trash talking, which happens in locker rooms, there's a limit, because if you go too far, someone's going to punch you in the nose. But when you're on a headset in a video game, no one can punch you in the nose. So you can say anything. So people will go beyond what is socially normal. And I understand why you're concerned. It's understandable, because you don't know, is your son really understanding the difference between what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. There is room in our society for inappropriate humor. We've all experienced it. We've all watched it. We're all engaged with it. I mean, where does your kid learn this stuff? At school, among peers, when there's no quarantine, obviously, but also online. Most teenagers have a lot of access to online, whether it's the internet, online TV, video games, whatever. There's no limit to how your kid has access to different insults and phrases. And again, your kid may not understand the weight of what he's saying. A lot of kids will use really inappropriate, offensive language that is derogatory, historically derogatory to, peoples that have been oppressed in our society. And your family may even be a member of one of those minority groups and go, my kid should know better. My kid is African American, or my kid is Jewish, or my kid is Latino, or my kid is gay, or whatever that is. But he is saying such horrible things. And again, it may not represent what he believes. It's representing his hope of going over the top and making his friends laugh, or making his opponent get so angry that they, rage and click off, and that's a part of the society. So what I would do is I would consider, what is it your goals are? Is it that you don't want him yelling so loud because it's hard to focus on what you're doing? You don't want to expose his little sister to this conversation, this stuff, and he's yelling and everyone can hear it in the house, including the backyard, the front yard, and the neighbor's house. What are the goals? And I would talk to him about those things. Number one, how it's affecting other people, because he's not understanding that. Because when he's playing a game, he is just in his world, and anything outside the world, there's nothing outside this world. It's only in the video game. So helping him understand how his actions affect other people, aside from the people he's playing with, but also, what does it mean? And that could be an awkward, uncomfortable conversation for him, and maybe for you. But if he's saying racially derogatory statements, for example, does he really understand what those mean and the history of those, and how they have been used to oppress people? And is that really what he wants to use? Now, he may think yes, because that's funny and that's not how I really feel. A lot of kids will say these things even though that's not how they feel, because it's just about, making someone laugh or making someone get angry. But helping them understand that. And it's not about right now. This is about long-term helping understand this. Most teenagers will be able to understand that, hey, I can't say this stuff to my teacher, or I can't say this when grandma's around. But when I'm online, I have my headset on, I'm in a little bubble, he has a hard time understanding that. So helping him understand that. Maybe helping him work with you to find a compromise. Maybe, as long as he closes his door and no one else hears what he says, he can say what he wants. You can't really legislate what he's going to say, because the more you try to limit it, the more you give power to it. And again, why do kids use foul language or adult language, as it's called? Because it makes you feel powerful, makes you feel like you're more of an adult, right? So, the more we can take some taboo away from that and a deeper understanding of what those words mean, maybe it helps him have a better understanding, and maybe it helps him not yell so loud, which is hard to do when you're, playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or Madden or whatever, and it's really exciting. It's hard to stay quiet. And you may have to find some limits on when he can play these games, when he can't play these games. I don't know. But whatever you do, get him engaged in the conversation to find a reasonable solution. If you just come down with an edict, he's going to fight it. And it's more important to get him involved in the conversation, more involved in the decision making, and more involved in the awareness of what's going on, so he can make a more conscious choice of how he wants to proceed. It's a tough question. There's not one simple, easy answer to this. But if you have more questions about this, give me a call, send us an email. We'd be happy to talk more about this. If you have a question you'd like me to answer next week on Tips on Teens, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com. Again, my name is Kent Toussaint from Teen Therapy Center and Challenge Teen Counseling, and we'll see you next week here on Facebook Live. Bye-bye.